Welcome to Navigating Church Finances with Michelle Brown, the podcast that helps take the guesswork out of church finances one episode at a time. Whether you're a seasoned treasurer or just got handed the church checkbook, you are in the right place. My goal is to make church finances fun, simple, and eliminate some stress for you. So let's get ready to learn something cool today. Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. I appreciate you joining me again today. It really doesn't matter how many times I seem to talk about the same things. There's always somebody who hasn't heard it, who is either new to the podcast or new to church finances, and they just don't know what they don't know. So I actually ran across this week. As you know, it's tax season, and I needed to file my taxes. So I had everything I needed except for we gave a couple of one-time contributions to a local church they were revamping, they were redoing things, and we just wanted to help support them. So we loved their mission, what they were doing in the community, so we gave them a couple of sizable donations. Well, I kept waiting and did not receive my contribution statement. And this was 2 weeks ago. I contacted them, left a message on the voicemail, and, said, this is my name, this is my address, made a couple of contributions. I need to get a contribution statement in order to file my taxes. So I got something in the mail this past weekend. And when I opened it, I was actually very, very shocked. What I received was no resemblance whatsoever of an appropriate contribution statement. And I felt bad for the church, and I felt bad that I was going to have to contact them because I didn't want to embarrass them and I didn't want them to make them feel bad. But one of the regulations for claiming contributions is that, especially contributions of $250 or more, is that you have to have written acknowledgement from the organization you donated to, either the earlier of the date you file your tax return or by the filing requirement date, which is April 15th, or extensions if you have that. So all of that to say, I could not file my taxes until I got this piece of paper. So I had to call them this morning, and I tried to, as gently and as respectfully as I could, tell them that what they did not work. They could not do that. And if they would allow me to, I would send them the regs telling them, informing them of what they need to do to get this corrected. So thankfully, this person that I spoke to was very nice. They're like, definitely, yes, send me this. Because unfortunately, they sent this same style of paper to every person that had requested a contribution statement. So all of that to say, I am just going to assume that there is somebody here listening today that does not know that there are actually requirements laid out in Section 170 of the Internal Revenue Code and in Publication 1771, IRS publication on charitable contributions, and the requirements of how this must be done. So that's what we're going to cover today. So the very first requirement that you must have is the name of the organization needs to be on this piece of paper, and it needs to be written. Okay, so you can get, if you make a bunch of $20 donations or even $199 donations, you are allowed to use copies of a cleared check from your bank with the front and the back of it. If you were to get audited, that could be used for acknowledgement. Okay. The breaking line there is once it hits $250, the IRS doesn't allow checks. It doesn't allow bank statements. It doesn't allow credit card statements. You have to have written acknowledgement from the organization you donated to. That is their paper of proof should you get audited. Okay. So $250 or more in a single donation. So the first thing it has to have is it has to have the organization's name on it. Second of all, it really should have your name on it. Unfortunately, our name was nowhere on this paper. You would have no idea who gave the money, okay? So you need to have the donor's name on there. Next, you need to have an amount. And for the amount, you can do it one of two ways, all right? You can either combine all of the contributions given during that year, that are for $250 or more in a single amount, or you can list the contributions items separately. I personally prefer and suggest and recommend that you list each individual contribution. Give it the date, the check number, if it's by check, who gave it or whatever, and the amount. And then you give a total at the end. And the reason for doing that is because sometimes you miss a contribution. It didn't get recorded properly in your system, or the person wrote the check. They thought they gave it to you. They lost it in the couch cushions or something. Okay. So I like an individual listing of the amounts given, but you can combine them all together if you need to. All right. The next thing you need to do that needs to be on there is it must state whether the church provided any goods or services to the donor in exchange for the contribution. All right. And if you did, it must include a good faith estimate of the value of those goods or services. So that's just a blurb that you need to have on there. If the church provides no goods or services to a donor in exchange for the contribution, or if the only goods or services the church provides are intangible religious benefits, the receipt must contain a statement to that effect. So that is what I call the IRS blurb. And in my course and in my membership group, we have a module on contributions where I go over and I show you how to properly do contributions, how I talk about a contribution supplement form that you can do. But you need to have that blurb, okay? So I want you to visualize in your mind a piece of paper, and you can either type this out, you can, print it out, you can send it email, you can put it in the mail, however you want to do it. But at the top of the piece of paper is going to have your church's organization. Okay. It's really nice. Some churches even put their EIN on there, and a lot of nonprofits put their EIN on there. That kind of sounded like EIEIO. Anyways, put the EIN up there, which is your federal ID number, and then the church's address. And then, in a couple lines later, say, Dear Robert and Michelle, or Dear Miss whoever it is. Okay, so you've got their name on there. And then just simply say, thank you for giving to our church this year, and here are the contributions you made. And then list out each time you received a contribution. Again, you need to have the date the contribution was made, the form the contribution was made, whether it was a check. If it's a check, put a check number. If it's cash, put a cash. If they made it online, just put online giving. Or if they pay with a credit card, you can do a credit card, however you want to do that, okay? And then put the amount that they gave. Or if you want to do an all-in-one and you just want to say everything added together was $5,000, you can just simply make a sentence that says, thank you for your contributions. In 2024, you donated a total of $5,000 to such and such church. Okay. And then at the bottom of that piece of paper, you're going to have that IRS blurb. All right. And I'm going to read that to you again so that you have it. Basically, you can say the only goods or services the church provided were intangible religious benefits. And then you're going to make sure that this written acknowledgement is mailed, either snail mail or emailed to the donor on or before the earlier of either the day the donor files their tax return, claiming a deduction for the contribution, or the due date, including extensions for filing the return. Okay, so please do this. Yes, the odds of someone getting audited are low. But this is the IRS. You just never know. It's kind of like, when we have to call the IRS and we tell each other that, if you don't like the answer you got with the first one, just hang up, call back. You'll get somebody else. You'll get a different answer. It just depends on the mood sometimes that these people are in. So we don't ever want to give them the right to take away our donations if you are able to deduct those. And again, a lot of people, due to the higher standard deduction, don't even itemize deductions anymore for federal, but they absolutely can help in some instances reduce the amount of state taxes you owe, because a lot of states that have income tax, you can do that charitable deduction on there. So it does make a difference. So we want people to continue to donate to our churches, but we also want to be able to make it as easy as possible for them to do so. And we want to thank them in a proper way. And we want to make sure that they've got all the documentation that they need in order to file their taxes. So that is all I'm going to talk about today. I just thought it was relevant that even though it's the middle of March on the date of recording this, it's never too early, too late, too soon to learn something new or to get confirmation of something that you need. Okay. So if you want to check out my course, you can go to, it's churchfinances.org/ICF course. That stands for Intro to Church Finances. Or if you just want to see what kind of freebies you can get and learn some more, you can go to churchfinances.org/resources. And there's a way you can get on my waiting list for a couple of things. And then there's also some free downloads you can get as well. So as always, thank you so much for giving of your time today. Remember, let's all strive to make an impact and not just an income. And remember to look your best, do your best, and be your best. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.